Hello, and welcome to Western Cinema presents Red River, starring John Wayne, directed by Howard Hawks, also starring Montgomery Clift, Walter Beanon, Joanne Deroux, Clone Gray, John Ireland, Noah Berry, and Harry Carey. Wow, there's two Harry Carey. There's two Harry Careys in the movie. Paul Fix. This grand old film is from 1948. Synopsis reads like this: John Wayne and Montgomery Clift head up this grand saga, the first cattle drive over the famous uh, Chrysolum Trail, with Wayne as a cattle baron whose single midress turns him into a cold-blooded executioner. With me is Deleted Scenes, as always, my partner in crime. How you doing there, Deleted Scenes?
I'm fairly partly cloudy. How about yourself, Bill?
Nice and sunny.
Right on.
Would you like to say anything about Red River?
Okay. Well, this is a classic film shown very often on television. First time that we have done this one, though. So, for those of you who are fans of this film, then you're in for a treat. And for those of you who are watching it for the first time, and I believe this may very well be the first time I'm seeing it from beginning to end. From 1948.
Yeah.
Red River.
It has a runtime of 2 hours, 13 minutes. It's setting with 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, with an 87% on audience score. Liking that already. If you follow us over to the screening room, oh, by the way, we can't actually show these films here on YouTube due to copyright. As much as we would absolutely love to show you these here wonderful classic westerns, we cannot, because we are restricted by the guidelines of YouTube and copyright. So if you cannot follow along with us, which we provide a screening room for you to watch along, you will have to find your own copy on whatever platform, streaming platform, or if you're lucky few, to find it on some physical media. We do hope you will join us in the screening room to enjoy this classic Western. If you follow us over there now, pinned at the top, we will get the show underway. Just a few moments here.
And speaking of our chat, I would like to thank Connie Cleary once again for joining us.
All right, buckle up, partners. Here we go with Red River. 5, 4, 3, 2, go. This is available also at Fandango at Home to rent or buy. Boy, that is a young John Wayne.
Mm.
And happy Father's Day, everybody.
Yes, indeed.
Always good to see you, Connie. Oh, looks like Come on, baby. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, meow.
Let me go get him. Cheep, 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 cheep. Yeah, yeah, see? Yeah, Mount Damascus, see? Yeah. Oh, wait.
You got a lot of nerve, kid. He's kind of all you got, isn't he?
Now,
I feel like there's something missing. We saw one cattle. Where's the rest of the cattle?
well, at the moment, I think that's it.
Okay, there's two cows.
Whoops.
Hello, Dead Man Walking. How you doing, my friend? Happy Father's Day to you, sir. You tell him, John. Well, nobody size it up like the Duke. If we fast forwarded, it looks like. It looks like the boy's grown up.
He has.
To be honest, this is the first time I've seen this all the way through. I've always saw it on TV throughout the years. Stop doing that. That's annoying. Never let another man handle your pistol. This ain't no brokeback mountain, damn it. Yeah.
And we're off.
They're so they're taking the cattle from Texas to Missouri. What did they say the mileage? Did they say the mileage?
I don't believe they did.
Our current timestamp is 39 minutes and 52 seconds. Keep mouth shut. Does not get in. I know that actor. He's very young here.
Hmm.
You know, it really makes you come to appreciate these older westerns. No, you weren't, sir. Oh, there goes the herd. Stampede! Stampede! You sugar loving redneck, look what you done done. Well, there goes one wagon. Oh shit!
Uh-oh.
Oh, they lost some cattle and some men.
It's not that show, bruv.
His wife wanted red shoes, so she's gonna get some red shoes.
Yep.
Oh, here comes Rep Rep.
Telegram. Yeah. 40 days and 40 nights. No, no, please don't. With that, damn, did anyone else get a shot off?
It-
Hey, it's no fair. The sugar guy lived. Yeah, now you got 2 holes in your leg.
Our current timestamp is 1 hour, 10 minutes, 10 seconds. it will get affected. Infected.
So I'm going to stay awake for the entirety of this here drive. So and help Tim. Got the timestamp at 1 hour, 16 minutes, 23 seconds. Oh, Mike, how could you? I can hear you, you know. I am Groot.
We are Groot.
Well, I've been doing that the whole show, Tim. I didn't want to overdo it.
Wow, he's acting like he just found gold.
Can't be good.
No.
Thank you kindly, ma'am. Damn, woman.
Set that up. That's a hell of an answer. It's just a friend.
I would like to introduce my fiancée. If it wasn't Montgomery Clift, I would say that's a likely story. Dun, 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 dun. It could have been a rattlesnake behind. That, my friend, is a train. And hello, Daniel's Hot Topics.
Hey there, Daniel. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's a double cross.
Oh, Snapple. Consarn it, woman.
There'll be no fury like the woman scorned.
Okay, then enough screwing around. Let's get this cattle to market, and we get Sherry to a doctor's office. He's bleeding over there in the street. We might want to get him a doc or something.
There you have the Red River.
Alrighty.
We should consult the scrolls.
Yes, we will. All right. Red River was released September 17th, 1948, at a budget of $3 million and went on to gross $14K.
Oh, so it was a box office dud.
So it's not good. If the numbers are correct there. All right. Red River was, however, nominated for 2 Oscars, screenplay and editing. Howard Hawks was nominated for the DGA, and the film was nominated at the Writers Guild of America. In 1990, became part of the National Film Registry and was named to the Hall of Fame of the Online Film and Television Association in 2012. Filming locations included Sonoita, I probably butchered that name, Fairbank, Empire Ranch, the Santa Rita Mountains, Mule Mountains, Verde River, Rain Valley, Hereford, the Baba Camari River, Kentucky Camp, Baba Quaveri Mountains, Mustang Mountains, Hacienda Corona de Govavi, Nogales, Biscuit Mountain, Canelo, Duquesne, Las Cientegas National Conservation Area, Elgin, Little Boncanías Ranch, in Fairbank, Nogales, San Pedro River, Tucson, and Whetstone Mountains, all in Arizona.
Nice.
All right, and on to the trivia. I'll read this off as quickly as I can. There's quite a bit. I might leave out a couple, but here we go. Filmed in 1946, but held for release for 2 years, in part due to legal problems with Howard Hughes, who claimed it was similar to his The Outlaw. Texas Longhorn cattle had been nearly extinct as a breed for about 50 years when this film was made. Only a few dozen animals were available, and the herd scenes most of the cattle are Hereford crosses, with precious longhorns prominently placed in crucial scenes. The theme song, Settle Down, was later adapted by the score's author, Dimitri Tompkin, and sung by Dean Martin and Ricky Nelson under the title My Rifle, My Pony, and Me in Rio Bravo, and other John Wayne Western directed by Howard Hawks. There was some concern that John Wayne and Montgomery Clift would not get along, since they were diametrically opposed on all political issues and both were outspoken on their views. According to legend, they agreed not to discuss politics and the shooting went smoothly. However, Wayne and Walter Brennan would not get along with Clift, and they stayed away from the young actor when not filming. Clift later turned down Dean Martin's role in Rio Bravo because he did not want to be reunited with those two actors. In a 1974 interview, Howard Hawks said that he originally offered the role of Thomas Dunson to Gary Cooper, but he declined it because he didn't believe the ruthless nature of Dunson's character would have suited his screen image. The role of Tess Millay was intended for Margaret Sheridan, but she became pregnant shortly before filming. She suggested her friend Joanne Drew for the role. Cary Grant, who had worked with Howard Hawks on Bringing Up Baby and Only Angels Have Wings, turned down the role of gunslinger Cherry Valance, a part that was subsequently minimized in the final film. During production, many members of the cast and crew caught illnesses and injuries. Howard Hawks was hospitalized for several days after being stung by a centipede. John Wayne caught a severe cold, and Joanne Drew suffered from influenza. This was the film debut of Montgomery Clift, but since the film was shelved for 2 years, the first film the public saw of Clift was The Search, for which he was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actor. Reportedly, upon completing this movie, Howard Hawks gave John Wayne a belt buckle that featured the Red River D logo. Wayne later wore this as a part of his costume in several other films, including El Dorado. According to this story, Wayne later returned the favor and gave Hawks a twin buckle. However, Hank Warden, who played Sims Reeves, claimed that he liked the Red River D brand and had a local silversmith make him a small buckle with the brand, which he also wore in several films. According to Warden, Wayne saw his buckle, admired it, and asked for the name of the silversmith. Wayne then had matching larger buckles made for himself and Hawks. Ranked number 5 on the American Film Institute's list of 10 greatest genre westerns in June of 2008. After seeing John Wayne's performance in the film, directed by rival director Howard Hawks, John Ford was quoted as saying, "I never knew the big son of a bitch could act." This led to Ford casting Wayne in more complex, multi-layered, and dramatic roles in films like She Wore Yellow Ribbon, The Searchers, and The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. However, it is worth noting that the only source for Ford's quote was Howard Hawks himself, who always liked to make himself look good in relation to other famous directors. Howard Hawks was distressed by what he considered John Ireland's unprofessional and lecherous behavior during filming, which were partially due to the actor's alcoholism. This contributed to Ireland's part, Cherry Valance, being drastically reduced in the finished film. However, others on the film, notably writer Borden Chase, have said that Hawks' main problem with Ireland was that they were both competing for the affections of Joanne Drew, and Hawks found himself on the losing end. Ireland and Drew were married a year later and took this resentment out his loss on Ireland. Hawks later called Chase an idiot, a heavy drinker, and a philanderer who didn't know what he was talking about, adding the real reason he cut Ireland's scenes were because the actor was always getting drunk, stoned on marijuana, and losing his hat and gun. Writer Borden Chase readily admitted that the storyline was Mutiny on the Bounty with saddles and stirrups. Face it, it is. Howard Hawks originally wanted Greg Toland as his director of photography, but when Toland proved unavailable, he had to go with Russell Harlan instead. This was the final film of Harry Carey Sr. He died September 21st, 1947, at the age of 69. Lux Radio Theater broadcast a 60-minute radio adaptation of the movie on March 7th, 1949, with John Wayne, Joanne Drew, and Walter Brennan reprising their film roles. This was 1948's third highest grossing film. Here's where they IMDb is kind of at odds with each other. Remember when I said the movie only made $14K? Apparently, that may or may not have been the case. Yeah, third highest grossing film at $4,150,000. Only Road to Rio and Easter Parade made more. So, depends.
Okay.
All right. This was the only film in which Harry Carey Jr. appeared with his father, Harry Carey, although they have no scenes together.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Burt Lancaster was offered the Montgomery Clift role by agent Charles K. Feldman, who was trying to sign the former acrobat. But Lancaster had just signed with agent Harold Hecht, and so turned down the role to star in The Killers, which was his film debut. Before filming began, consideration was given to shooting in color, but Howard Hawks found the processes at the time to be too garish and decided that black and white would be more conducive to a feeling of the period. Howard Hawks and his crew scouted more than 15,000 miles of territory in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Mexico before settling on a location. The film was shot at a vast cattle ranch near Elgin, Arizona from June to November 1946. Other locations included the Whetstone Mountains in Arizona and the San Pedro River standing in for the Red River. Despite the reputed lack of rain, there were frequent expected downpours on location. John Wayne convinced Howard Hawks to shoot in all weather, and the script was rewritten to accommodate a fierce storm. To coordinate the massive movement of actors, crew, and cattle, the company depended on shortwave radios and walkie-talkies for communications. 2 sets of costumes were required to cover wear and tear, and a total of $150,000 for the cowboy's wardrobe. Joanne Drew's costumes alone cost more than $20,000. Okay? Each river had 2 pairs of boots at $150 a pair. On the first day of shooting, Montgomery Clift burned himself on the thigh with a blank cartridge practicing quick draws. In short, he shot himself. Basically. Nice one, kid. All right, moving on. Originally budgeted at $500,000, the film eventually cost at least twice that. Howard Hawks said he often thought of John Ford when shooting, particularly in a burial scene when ominous clouds started to gather. He told John Wayne to keep talking. I'm sorry?
If they only knew what the cost of filmmaking costs today.
Yeah. Okay. Howard Hawks said he often thought of John Ford when shooting, particularly in a burial scene when ominous clouds started to gather. He told John Wayne to keep talking, say anything, and they would fix the sound later. In the final cut, the scene is played with a big cloud dramatically passing over, and Hawks told Ford, "Hey, I've got one almost as good as you can do. You better go and see it." Montgomery Clift had learned to ride horses while at military prep school, but it was a different kind of riding than he was required to do in this role. He asked experienced Western actor Noah Barry Jr. for help and worked hard to become convincing on screen. Barry later said the thing he enjoyed the most was becoming a good cowboy and horseman. Hawks had always had high praise for how hard Clift worked on the picture. Montgomery Clift was nervous about standing up to John Wayne, but gained confidence when Hawks told him to play his scenes like David against Goliath. He also urged the young actor to underplay his scenes with Wayne, particularly the scene in which his character challenges Dunstan for the first time. Wayne was also not sure Clift could be convincing as a rugged cowboy, but after that first confrontation scene, he told Hawks his doubts were gone and he's going to be okay. However, later on, in an interview with Life magazine, John Wayne described Montgomery Clift as an arrogant little bastard. Howard Hawks and John Wayne also differed on how Wayne would play the aged Dunstan. Hawks thought that beyond the added gray hair and wrinkles, Wayne should move and talk differently and suggested he consult Walter Brennan on techniques for appearing old. Wayne found that the shuffling and tottering that Brennan suggested to be detrimental to his character and image and played it his own way, standing tall. Wayne did, however, interject some subtle movements to convey his advanced years, such as reaching out for Clift's assistance and rising to his feet from a crouch. Wayne recalled, "Oh yeah, Hawks and I had a few fights along the way, but he accepted me as an expert, which I was, and we didn't have any more trouble. I was always happy to work for Hawks." Montgomery Clift didn't warm to either Howard Hawks or John Wayne. He did occasionally take part in the nightly poker games they organized, where they laughed and drank and told dirty jokes and slapped each other on the back. They tried to draw me into their circle, but I didn't go along with them. The machismo thing repelled me because it seemed so forced and unnecessary. Howard Hawks had great respect for Wayne, even though many people didn't consider him a great actor. He's a damn good actor. He does everything, and he makes you believe it, Hawks later commented. Writer Borden Chase objected to what he considered the historically inaccurate use of six-shooters. Hawks insisted on using them, however, so he didn't have to stop the scene to reload guns. Howard Hawks shot the beginning of the cattle drive in close-ups of each of the principal cowhands because he felt tight shots would be needed to help the audience keep all of the characters straight in their minds. To that end, he also gave them all different hats, including a derby. Montgomery Clift used Hawks' own hat, which was given to him by Gary Cooper. Cooper had imparted a weather-beaten look to the hat by watering it every night. "Spiders built nests in it," Hawks said. "It looked great." Hawks claimed a problem with one scene that invites criticism. The ending was not the scene itself, but the way Joe Andrew played it. To get the impressive shot of Dunstan surveying his vast herd, the camera was placed on a motorized turntable so it always moved at the same speed. The shot began with him at a fence post and panned across the cattle until it came to another fence post. The camera was then stopped while available cattle were moved to the next segment of the shot and started again. This was repeated until the camera moves back to him, giving the impression that he was looking out many times more cattle than they actually had on location. This was Howard Hawks' first Western. Harry Carey Jr., who played Dan Latimer, who was the guy that got killed during the stampede, was the real-life son of Harry Carey, who played Millville, the cattle buyer at the end, and the son-in-law of Paul Fix, who played Teeler. This was included among the 101 movies you must see before you die, edited by Steven Snyder. Harry Carey Jr. later said that while John Wayne did not personally like Montgomery Clift, he did not deny that Clift was very effective in the film. The film bears some resemblance to Come and Get It, a film Howard Hawks began that was taken over by William Wyler. In both films, there is a conflict between an older and younger man, father and foster son figures who end up competing for the same woman. In that film, the Francis Farmer character is a surrogate for the woman the older man loved and lost years before. More than 9,000 steers were photographed for the herd drive, requiring 25,000 gallons of water to settle the dust they kicked up. There was a Red River computer company in New Hampshire whose founders named their business after the movie. In Rio Bravo, Howard Hawks encouraged the 19-year-old Ricky Nelson to copy Montgomery Clift's mannerisms from this film, rubbing his nose with his index finger. Joanne Drew married fellow co-star John Ireland in 1949. They divorced in 1957. John Wayne was offered $150,000 and 10% of the profits to play the role of Tom Dunson. Howard Hawks cast Montgomery Clift after seeing into film after seeing him in The Searching Wind on Broadway. John Wayne gave the producers extensive advice about the possible location and logistical problems associated with making westerns and insisted Howard Hawks hire real cowhands and train stunt professionals instead of the amateurs he had lined up. The director signing on 70 real cowboys for the job. He also contracted to have dozens of horses represent the hundreds required by the story, and about 1,000 head of cattle at $10 per day each to stand in for Dunston's herd of 10,000. Wayne once said it was clear Hawks was taking his advice seriously and a budget would be increased. He agreed to do the picture. Several players appeared with John Wayne in a number of films, many of them identified as the John Ford Stock Company in many of that director's pictures. Hank Warden, who played Sims Reeves, played a key part as Old Mose in The Searchers and was in 15 other Wayne movies. Paul Fix made 27 pictures with Wayne between 1931 and 73. Wayne worked with Harry Carey 4 times and with his son Harry Carey Jr. 10 times. Noah Barry Jr. and Wayne were in 4 films together. Blink, and you'll miss a couple of future stars in dead parts. Shelley Winters can be glimpsed as a dance hall girl in The Second Wagon Train. Richard Farnsworth plays one of Dunson's men. He was also a stuntman on the picture. Another is Glenn Strange, who appeared in 16 of John Wayne's earlier films. This was their last picture together. Strange went on to play Sam the bartender on Gunsmoke. Before that, he was primarily known for playing the Frankenstein monster. Okay. This next one, take it as you will, but I'm going to read it the way IMDb has it. All right. How you picture the film, up to you. Okay. Both the book, The Celluloid Closet, and the 1995 documentary made from it referenced this film as one of the classic pictures veiled with homoerotic undertones. Joseph McBride and Gerald Perry, in an interview with Howard Hawks for Film Comment, commented on the gay subtext of several of the director's films, particularly this one. Hawks' reply was that it was, and I quote, a goddamn silly statement to make. While the film's pronounced homoeroticism appears to have been wholly unintended, many film historians have pointed out that Hawks was too skilled a craftsman not to notice the sexual fluidity pervading much of his work. From the gender bending of I Was a Male War Bride in 1949 to the gymnasium scene in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes in 1953, in which Jane Russell tempts a cadre of Olympic bodybuilders who only have eyes for each other. Hawks hinted at effeminacy in The Big Sleep in 1946. Hey, just because one gay guy gets slapped in one movie does not make it. Moving on. Questionable male cohabitation in Ball of Fire in 1941, and Unleashed Cary Grant's use of the word gay in reference to sexual orientation, a first in movie history, in Bringing Up Baby in 1938. The song Dean Martin sings into jail in Rio Bravo was originally written by Dmitry Tiomkin for this film, but it was completed too late for use in the scene where a cowboy song was needed, so they substituted another one. However, strains of this song can be heard in the theme music, and the words that were later changed for use in the other movie. Although not released until September 1948, it became the year's third biggest moneymaker. Tell that to IMDb Pro, please. Somebody change that. Earning more than $4 million on its first run. Arthur Rawson was given co-director credit because of his extensive and acclaimed work guiding the second unit, which captured many of the great cattle drive and large action scenes. Montgomery Clift was offered a flat $60,000 for the film, but he had to be talked into doing the role, mostly because of his concern about the climactic fight scene with the bigger and tougher Wayne. It was a doubt that amplified in his mind by several friends who told him he was crazy to play against type. Clift fully agreed to do it at Hawks' urging, but refused to sign more than a one-picture deal. John Wayne attended a production meeting with Howard Hawks and executive producer Charles K. Feldman and expressed his concerns with their approach to the film. The first thing he suggested was that they get United Artists to up the $1.5 million budget more than 50%, since their intentions were clearly to make a blockbuster. The film is included on Roger Ebert's Great Movies list, selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the National Film Library in 1990. Footage from this film was incorporated into John Wayne's last film, The Shootist.
Huh.
At the start of filming, John Wayne had serious doubts if Montgomery Clift would be manly enough to play a character that stood up to him. His first few scenes with Clift almost immediately changed his mind. Shot over a period of 20 weeks, 12 on location, 8 on the studio lot. The film spent nearly 2 years in editing. The first cuts proved to be all wrong, so in desperation, Howard reached out to Christian Nyby, his friend and a respected editor, who was working at Warner Brothers editing Fighter Squadron at the time. Nyby agreed with Hawks that the film wasn't working, but told him he couldn't help him as he was contracted to Warner's. Hawks got around that by contacting Warner's chief, Jack L. Warner, who was aboard the ocean liner, the Queen Mary, on the way to Europe, and secured his permission to use Nyby. Said the editor would cut Fighter Squadron by day, then after hours to get to work on this film. Included among the American Film Institute's 1998 lists of the 400 movies nominated for the top 100 greatest American movies. Featured as The Last Picture Show in the film The Last Picture Show.
Wow.
The second film in which Walter Brennan opens the Abilene Trail, herding beef from Texas to Abilene after the Civil War. The first was with Randolph Scott, the Texans, then again in Red River with John Wayne. Brennan essentially plays the same role in both films. The film was selected into the National Film Registry in 1990 for being, and I quote, culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. A computer colorized version of the film was struck in the mid-1980s, along with many other titles in the Turner Library. However, Red River and a handful of others, including The Body Snatcher and Flying Down to Rio, were broadcast only in Europe, never to be exhibited in the US through either television or home video. The final confrontation with John Wayne in Red River is cited by Martin Scorsese as a direct influence on the scene in Goodfellas, where Henry Hill walks across the street, attacks the neighbor who had upset Karen, and walks back in one continuous shot. The film was shot in 1946, copyrighted in 1947, and released in 1948. In 2014, Montgomery Clift's Red River D belt buckle sold at auction for $13,750 US.
Damn.
This film has a 100% rating based on 30 critics' reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. The Red River that is crossed on the Texas Panhandle is not the main Red River, but the Prairie Dog Fork, which is a tributary. All right. The climactic fist fight becomes more reasonable when we remember that Valance shot Dunstan in the ribs just before the confrontation with Matt. Dunstan fights the entire time with a bullet in him. Very true. The fast-forward narration that covers the growth of Tom's herd over many years was again used by Howard Hawks when he directed The Land of the Pharaohs in a similar span of time, covering the building of the Great Pyramid. The commercial and critical failure of Pharaohs, however, caused Hawks to forego directing for European travel. He did not direct the movie again until Rio Bravo. Matthew Garth, the character played by Montgomery Clift, is also the name of Charlton Heston's character in the World War II film epic Midway. The bird call done by the last surviving Comanche during the fight at the start of the film is that of a mourning dove. This film is part of the Criterion Collection, Spine 709. The money Dunstan earned from the cattle drive comes to approximately $2.5 million in Mon funds. When Harry Carey Sr. first meets Garth, he displays one of his two classic cowboy poses when he holds the saddle horn in his left hand and leans forward while laying his right arm over his left. His other classic pose was that of standing while holding his right elbow in his left hand. Years later in The Searchers, John Wayne pays tribute to Carey by using the standing pose at the end of that film. The film cast includes 3 Oscar winners: Wayne, Walter Brennan, and Shelley Winters, and 4 future nominees: Montgomery Clift, Richard Farnsworth, John Ireland, and Harry Carey. Dunstan wants to drive the cattle herd to Sedalia, which is a town in central Missouri. The railroad did indeed go to Sedalia in 1865. The discussions about whether the railroad was in a certain town, Sedalia, Missouri, Topeka, Kansas, and Abilene, Kansas, was realistic because in the 1860s, the railroads would build to a certain point, but no farther. The Intercontinental Railroad was not complete until 1869, when it connected rails from Omaha to California. Borden Chase's original script has Tess and Matt escort a mortally wounded Dunstan across the Red River, where they stand him up long enough to have him die on Texas soil. Chase vigorously objected to Howard Hawks' change, but to no avail. John Wayne felt the film was slightly overlong and was concerned how Clift would fight him on screen. Hawks filmed the final fight in such a way that Clift was able to realistically stand up to the much taller and heavier Wayne. Upon attending a rough-cut screening of the picture, Montgomery Clift was disappointed, mostly because of the ending, which he thought was ludicrous, because Joanne Drew settles it and makes the showdown between me and John Wayne a farce. He also found his own performance mediocre, but what recognized it as his star-making role. I watched myself in Red River and knew I was going to be famous, so I decided I could get drunk anonymously one last time. John Wayne responded to Montgomery Clift's underplaying by working harder at his difficult role. In the scene where Clift tells him he's taking over to drive and moving her to Abilene, Wayne turned his back on him and said in a low voice, "I'm going to kill you, Matt." The action was counter to Howard Hawks' direction to have Wayne cringe, but the actor refused to appear cowardly and played it his way. To Hawks' ultimate satisfaction, the improvised moment left Clift dumbfounded and was used in the final cut. I noticed this. I don't know if anybody else did. Harry Carey Jr. dies during the stampede, then reappears later with John Wayne just before the final confrontation at the edge of town. So he plays two characters in the film. All right, so that is it from IMDb Pro. The scrolls are closed.
Oh, yes. Scrolls.
Mm-hmm. So, Bill, what do you have coming up?
I was thinking about doing a thing on House of the Dragon. I may still do that. We got Western Action Theater on Thursday with The Last Samurai.
Yes, The Last Samurai will be the film. Thursday at our usual time, Bill?
Yep. Of course.
Okay. Thursday, June 20th at 4:30. Action Theater, The Last Samurai.
And I'm thinking for next week's feature on Western Cinema Presents,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking Wyatt Earp with Kevin Costner, 1994. What do you think? Can we do it?
Fine with me. Yeah. I
It's a
think
long
it's
movie.
a high time I revisited that one. Yes, it is. But probably, well, we'll go into this. It did come out at the same time as Tombstone, and yeah, I'm sure we'll be discussing that. So I don't want to let everything go right now. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of hold back on some things that I want to say about both films. And yeah,
it's interesting. It has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 61% and a certified fresh of 32%. So audience loved it more than critics did. I just find that odd. But that was like so long ago. 30. Was it 30,
Yeah.
30 years ago?
30 years already. Yeah.
30 years ago. Wow. Yeah. All right. We'll do Wild Earp for next Sunday's Western Cinema Presents.
All right. Last Samurai. There had to have been a second to Last Samurai. Stay tuned, Tim.
Yes. Stay tuned. Indeed.
Okay. All righty. Well, my week-long or so birthday celebration is going to be beginning with a live stream here in just a few minutes. So I'm going to have to wrap this, at least my portion of this puppy up so I can get over there because there are people already in the chat.
Okay.
So I got to get going. So I tried to keep things as short as I could, but it is what it is. All right. I do want to thank everyone who joined us here in the chat and on Cosme. We will be returning right back here next week for Wyatt Earp. Catch us Thursday for The Last Samurai. Head on over to my channel for my birthday live stream. And of course, join me later on tonight for The Other Side of Midnight. Tomorrow night for the Mystery Movie Podcast. We've rebranded that program. Since Corner and Off the Cover will be joining me as usual for whatever the mystery movie might be. Then, of course, 8:30 Tuesday for a special edition of Live from Sparkwood and 21, which we are going to entitle See You in 25 Years, Part 3, Fire Walk With Me, as we watch a fan edit of the film that re-edits the movie to include the infamous missing scenes. So join us for that. All right. I will go out with my... I'm sorry?
Go for it. Go for it. Say it.
Okay. I will go out with my usual. Thank you all once again for being here. From HQ, our second home office in Arizona, and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond, good night, take care, stay strong, because this is how we win.
And for me,
And thank you, Tom.
Be excellent to each other. Party on. Can't wait to see you on the next one. Later, folks.